Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head Left to tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. My name is Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. Back in our broom closet, which we affectionately refer to as the sound room. TK and Heavy D are back there. Going to be talking to those guys in about probably 10 minutes here, Ken. And, it's tourney time in high school girls basketball. We're going to be talking about that tonight. It's also getting close to tourney time for the boys, still in the regular season. Still a few things to take care of there on the boys' side, but we're going to be talking about all that stuff tonight with a couple big guests, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, Craig. Really looking forward to the show tonight. We've got one of the better players in the history of the Shelby County League in girls basketball, Craig. That's Cayla Bensman of the Anna Rockets, the senior guard. Craig, finishing off her senior season. She's got one state championship under her belt. She's got a couple Shelby County League championships. She's got a state runner-up championship. She's scored over 1,000 points in her career. So really looking forward to talking to the Anna senior star, Cayla Bensman, as well as Craig. We'll head up over to the Lehman, and we'll speak with Lehman boys basketball coach John Tollefson. He's got his team sitting at 12-7 currently on the season, Craig. The Cavaliers are playing fine basketball right now, and we'll see what he has to say about his upcoming big games this weekend against two of the top teams in Ohio.
Yeah, can't wait to talk to those two interviewers or interviewees, and I know they're raring to go tonight. We'll get to that in just a little bit, though. But before we do, just like we do every week, we have a weekly trivia question. You ask me the question. I try to get it right at the end of the show. What do you got tonight?
Well, Craig, speaking of Anna Rocket lady basketball, we're going to go back a couple years to the 2013 state championship game in which the Anna Rockets defeated the Nubians of Columbus Afrocentric for the D3 Girls State Championship. Who was the Rockets' leading scorer in that game? Was it Erica Huber, Cayla Bensman, Natalie Billing, or Jody Seger?
Jody Sager. That's one of my choices.
That's one of your choices.
I didn't know Jody Sager even played for Anna, but I do remember those other three girls pretty well. But I'm going to need a little help on that one because a couple of those girls aren't around anymore. Of course, the one is. Maybe I can ask her for a little help when we're talking to her later. But if you're watching us on the Fish Report Live page, you can help me out by scrolling down, answering that question. You can check the results out, and we'll check those results out at the end of the show. If you're watching us on NK Telco, Cable TV Channel 3, we'll just tell you the answer at the end of the show. So let's get things started here, Ken. And, we're going to be talking, again, about some girls basketball tonight. And we kind of wrapped up the regular season down south. Now, our friends up north in Mac Country or what we'll call the Walpock District, they still have a little bit of the regular season yet to go. But like I said, we're going to focus on things down south here. And let's start out with Division 4. The Sydney sectional starts this weekend. Let's start with the Sydney Upper. And why don't you run through that for our viewers?
Well, Craig, the girls' Division 4 Sydney upper bracket, Craig, you see Russia, the number 2 seed there, sitting at the bottom portion of that bracket. I look for them to cruise past Mississinawa Valley. Shelby County League foe Botkins will be waiting on them. I think the Raiders get by Botkins, and going to be an interesting in the top portion of that bracket, Craig. I think the second round matchup between Jackson Center and Mechanicsburg will be a very good ball game. Look for Jackson Center to win that one. Russia Jackson Center to play for the sectional championship, and I believe the Raiders will get out of that upper bracket.
All right, and we'll go down to the Sydney lower now. What do we got there?
Well, Craig, the lower bracket moved the Fort Loramie Redskins all the way out to the championship game. Nobody's going to touch them. The lower portion of that bracket, Craig, I think it's probably going to be Houston coming out of there. They've kind of had a down year, to be honest with you. However, they do have a lot of talent. Look for Loramie and Houston to play in that sectional final, with Loramie easily moving on to the district championship.
All right, and we'll go ahead and talk about the Tip City Upper. What do you got there?
Well, Craig, the Division III Tip City Upper Bracket, look for Versailles. They actually won big tonight. They won by about 70 points, I think, over Northridge. They'll get by Northeastern, very similar fashion. Move them out to the finals, Craig. I think they're going to, I'll predict an upset here. I think they'll take on the Dixie Greyhounds. I think Dixie will win over Miami East in that second-round matchup. Look for Versailles to easily advance to the Wilmington District.
All right, and one more bracket. That's the Tip City Lower. What do we got there?
Tip City Lower, Craig, Anna, the team we're going to be talking about tonight. I think they actually got a fairly tough game in that opening round with Milton Union. Their game versus Arcanum, again, going to be pretty tough. Arcanum's not a bad basketball team, Craig. However, I look for Anna to advance out of this bracket, probably beating West Liberty in the finals.
All right, well, speaking of that Anna team, the star on that team all season has been, of course, senior Cayla Bensman. She's been a 4-year starter for the Lady Rockets, Ken. She was a state runner-up her freshman year, a state champion her sophomore year. Her Lady Rockets have actually won 9 of the last 11 games. We're happy to have her live on the phone right now. Cayla Bensman, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, well, listen, let's start things off by talking about the play of your team here lately. At the halfway point of the season, Cayla, your first 11 games, your record was just 5-6, kind of mediocre there. But over the next 11 games, you girls finished up with a 9-2 record, and included in that was a big win over Fort Laramie, their only league loss of the season. Let me ask, what caused that turnaround in the play of your team the second half of the season?
Well, I think we just started to play well together as a team. At the beginning of the season, we didn't really have like a set 5 of starters. Coach was just trying to see who, would play well together and everything. And so, once we finally got our 5 starters, I think we started to build a really good chemistry and just play really well together. And another thing, I had back surgery back in August, and at the beginning of the season, I wasn't in the best shape ever. Being out for 3 months, and so I think that hurt the team a little bit, and myself too. And so, once I finally got into good shape, and I'm feeling really good now, and I think that's really made a difference.
All right, well, I just mentioned how much success you had earlier in your career. You had a state championship, a state runner-up. I believe by the end of your sophomore season, your record was 53 wins and just 5 losses. Well, your junior year, when you had kind of a subpar year there, and the beginning of this season, was it frustrating for you when you weren't able to have that kind of success you had earlier in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely frustrating going from, going on 2 state teams and going to a team that didn't even get out of sectionals last year. It's definitely frustrating. But, I mean, we lost 7 seniors, and we had a bunch of underclassmen coming in, pretty much me, with a junior, and then a bunch of sophomores and freshmen playing. I mean, we weren't really expected to do super well, but, I mean, it's still tough to lose. I really hate to lose. It bothers me a lot. And but I think it definitely helped me in handling adversity because things didn't always go the way I wanted it to. But I think it just made me better as a person and as a player because I definitely had to work a little bit harder, and I think it helped me improve on some things that I definitely needed to improve on.
Cayla, hi, this is Ken Francis. Let's talk a little bit about your tournament draw. You're the number 2 seed coming in. You open up against the 11th seed Milton Union Bulldogs. On paper, it looks like a mismatch, but Milton Union brings an interesting team in at an 11th seed. They've actually got a 1,000-point scorer on their team by the name of Brooke Faub. Tell us what Coach Martin has told Lady Rockets about this Milton Union team.
Well, yeah, he's definitely been saying that we can't take them lightly. We can't just expect to go in there and win easily. We definitely have to show up and play. And we've been going pretty hard this week in practice, running a lot and definitely going over all their stuff. And, we went over the scouting report today. Yesterday we watched film. And, I think we can definitely make a good run in tournament this year. We just definitely have to show up and play at all of our games. And, yeah.
Cayla, speaking of 1,000 points, you're a 1,000-point scorer yourself. You actually hit that mark as a junior last year about this time. Are there any statistics or records that motivate you as a basketball player on the court?
Well, scoring my 1,000 point last year as a junior was definitely really cool, but I don't really focus too much on the individuals. I just really just want to win, and anything I can do to help get better so I can help my team win. That's pretty much what I focus on. And the individual records are cool, and that'll come. But, yeah, definitely winning is a lot more important than that.
Cayla, let's talk about post-high school a little bit. You'll be heading off to the Ohio Dominican to continue your education in your basketball career. They've got a team or a player over there that's very familiar by the name of Darian Rose. You've already played against Darian. She's a Fort Laramie Redskin. Your thoughts about playing with Darian, what you're looking forward to, and have you and Darian talked and all about playing together? I know how Dominican.
Yeah, I don't really know her too well. I've talked to her a few times, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, she's a really great player, and it was always fun and pretty tough to play against her. And, I mean, she always made the games real exciting because, you know, she was a really good player and County Player of the Year last year. And, you know, I think she's a great athlete and everything. And, you know, she's the type that you hate to play against, but, you know, you love to have her on your team because she does make a huge difference, I think. And I think it'll be really fun just to play with somebody in this area because, you know, you're always big rivals, like, when we play against each other here. But once you get to college and get to be on the same team, I think it'll be really fun.
All right, Cayla, listen, one more question and we'll let you go. Now, I got a chance to talk to your mom and dad this past weekend over in Houston at a junior high game. And I remember your dad back in the day. He was a very good athlete himself, a very good cross-country runner, a very good basketball player. I guess that begs the question, you know, you're playing pretty well yourself here the last 4 years. You two ever go one-on-one against each other? And if you do, who gets the best of who these days?
That's kind of funny you actually brought that up because just on Sunday we went up and played 21 at the school, and he beat me in the first two games. They were pretty close though, but in the next two games I actually beat him by quite a bit. I think I wore him out though. He's kind of old.
Oh, he still got it though, huh? He won a couple games, huh?
Oh yeah, he can still shoot.
Watch that old comment, Cayla. He's probably younger than me.
Maybe.
Hey, thanks for being on our show tonight, Cayla. We really appreciate you taking time out to join us here on Fish Report, and really looking forward to watching you in the postseason. And congratulations on what has been just an outstanding career in the green and white over there on Anna.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, Cayla. All right, that was Lady Rocket Senior Cayla Bensman. And Ken, I want to go back to the sound room and talk to the guys back there. Heavy D, I want to start out with you. You know, we just talked to Cayla Bensman. Obviously one of the better players in the SCAL. Yeah. Now, I know all the county coaches got together last week, I believe, and voted on the best player in the county as well as the first and second teams, all that fun stuff. None of that's been released yet, but I want to ask you, if you had to pick a county player of the year, who you picking?
Yeah, we had a couple girls from last year on the first team. Jessica Berger from Fort Laramie made first team, and Kylie Wilson was a first team player. I want to go back to 7th grade watching the Anna Rockets play in our Russia Raiders, and I can remember one time the score was Russia 25, Cayla Bensman 25. So I'm going to give her the nod for the County Player of the Year. Had a great career, good athlete, good kid. Yeah.
All right. And listen, TK, I was actually reading a website this morning, 419sports.com, and they had a little article in there. The guy was predicting his or talking about potential boys tournament matchups, what games he was looking forward to down the road. You know, let's talk about the girls' side. If you had to look forward to a potential game maybe down the road a little ways, any particular games you'd be interested in seeing?
Yeah, Craig, there's a couple of them. Start out in D3 since we were just talking to Cayla and her Anna Rockets in D3. Things go well for them. Look for them to go right through their tournament bracket. And then on the other side coming out would be Versailles Tigers. Also looking like if they keep themselves together and focused, those two teams will come together for a regional semifinal game, which should be very good if it does indeed happen. Those two played, of course, earlier this year. Anna won by 6, so brings up a pretty good game potential there, and obviously a big rivalry as both those teams have been powerful the last several years. And go over to the D4 side, our own Lady Raiders here, and they're playing well. They come out of their region, as Ken pointed out earlier when we went over the brackets. Looks like Fort Laramie should come out of their side, and then that'll get those two SCAL rivals heading against each other. And this year played twice, and unfortunately the Raiders lost twice, but only by a total of 7 points. So bring up a very good game there if those two can make it through their brackets.
I can see that. I think those two are definitely on a collision course, the Fort Laramie Redskins and the Russia Raiders. They've got great draws. Like TK said back there, it would be a great game. It'd be great to see two SCAL foes meet each other up in the regionals. So, and again, same thing with Anna and Versailles. Might be a little tougher there on the end of the scale there at Division III. I think Versailles is probably going to get out there. I think Anna might have a little bit tougher road to hoe, but I think they can get there. And again, very interesting matchup if those two get it.
Yeah, I tell you what, if both those matchups happen, I'll definitely be getting a ticket to watch those. And we actually saw that Russia-Fort Laramie matchup probably about 3 years ago, I believe, and I would love to see that one again.
Yep.
All right, well, listen, that's going to do it for the first half of our show. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking some boys basketball, including head coach of the Lehman Cavaliers, John Tollefson. Stay right there.
Well, I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. What's poor boy to do? You got me acting a fool. I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. What's poor boy to do? You got me black and blue. I'm digging on you. I've been watching from my window, and I just can't get my eyes off of you, girl. You don't know me, you don't know I'm looking. Oh, how I wish to be part of your world. Well, I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. What's poor boy to? You got me acting a fool. I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. What's poor boy to? You got me black and blue. I'm digging on you. Well, I'm hypnotized by every expression in the way you run your fingers through your hair, which you find is romantic, oh, a little bit frightening, to know that you are never, ever alone. Well, I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. What's poor boy to? You got me acting a fool. I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. I'm digging on you. What's poor boy to? You got me black and blue. I'm digging on you.
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. And before the break, Ken, we were talking some girls basketball. We're going to talk a little boys basketball. And one conference that we haven't really talked about this season is the NWCC, and that's really because we don't cover a lot of those teams. However, we do cover the Lehman Cavaliers from time to time. So let's check out the NWCC standings and see where Lehman falls this year.
Craig, Lehman right now sitting in third place at 4-2, 12-7 overall. Lima Perry atop the league standings. They're at 7-0 and 15-4 overall, followed closely by Upper Scioto Valley. So Lehman right there near the top, Craig. Competitive conference at the top. I think it's a very top-heavy league. I think some of the teams down near the bottom there, Craig, obviously by their record shows that they're that kind of weak, but good league in the top portion of that standings there, and the Lehman Cavaliers have been playing good basketball.
Oh, yeah, they sure have. They've actually won their last 5 games in a row, 7 of the last 9, and they are led by head coach, or second-year head coach, John Tollefson. We're happy to have him live on the phone right now. Coach, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, and how are you guys doing?
Doing well.
We're doing great. And listen, we just talked about how well you've been playing here lately. You know, you kind of started out the season playing 500 ball. I think you were 6-6 at one time. But again, I believe you've won 6 out of your last 7. You're riding a 5-game winning streak, your longest winning streak of the season. Do you feel like you're playing your best ball right now, Coach?
I do. I feel like throughout the season we've slowly discovered that defense is actually a kind of a major part of this game. So, I mean, with us kind of discovering that, we've had a little bit more success, and it's a good group of kids that are working hard and getting better.
All right, well, listen, there's a list of guys that have been playing well for you this season. Just off the top of my head, Jackson France, Nick Rourke, Greg Spearman, 3 guys have been playing very well. Is there any one of those guys in particular that is a leader on the floor? Who makes your team go?
This is a very interesting combination of players that we have. I actually didn't at all assign captains this season. They're very good about getting on each other or supporting each other. All 7 of the seniors are I wouldn't say that there's one individual leader. They all work together. They keep each other in check, and it's a great mix of kids. And I wouldn't say there's one individual leader out there.
Coach, hi, this is Ken Francis. Let's talk a little bit about your schedule coming up this weekend. It couldn't get a whole lot tougher. You got Tri-Village on Friday night, Troy Christian on Saturday, 2 of the top 10 teams in the state of Ohio there. Tri-Village number 1, of course. What are you looking for your team this week and during these 2 games?
Well, we have done what I feel like is a great job in preparation for Tri-Village. Troy Christian has the 2 transfers that just started playing after their first 11 games. They had to sit out, so we don't know them as well as what we'd like to. I just want to see the boys come out and play our basketball, improve on defense. And I don't know, the word has kind of gotten out. If they go 2-0 this weekend, I'm getting a tattoo, and I've never had one that says the date and the scores on it. I just kind of opened my big mouth, and it led to that, and I don't think there's any backing out. So if we go 2-0 this weekend, I guess I'll never forget it.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about Tri-Village. Our Russia Raiders have played Tri-Village this year earlier in the year. A very close game, went down to the last minute or so. I seen the other night they put up 137 points. I've seen the Cavaliers, your Cavaliers play. You guys can put some points on the board as well. Any chance you guys literally blow up the scoreboard this weekend and it's an NBA type game?
Well, I think the potential is always there for us, but I've found that if our scores start getting above 70, for the most part, it means that we're taking jump shots and we're not defending. So if it is up in the NBA scoring range, although it'll be fun and we'll sell some tickets, I don't believe we'll win it. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen just for our sake.
Let's go back to this summer, Coach. I ran into you at Hilton Head, South Carolina. You and I were having a little breakfast together over there. You remember that day or not?
Pardon me?
You remember running into me in Hilton Head, South Carolina?
I did. I think that's where we started getting things in motion for you to send your youngest boy to Lehman. I think
that was right. That is correct. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't think it will, but you were working it, so that's fine. At that time, we talked some basketball. We talked some summer basketball, some hoops, and your team's sitting as the number 4 seed in the upcoming tournament. The Raiders are number 1 seed. You got Jackson at 2, Fort Laramie 3, 4 very good basketball teams right there. How did you feel the draw went for you guys last week?
I was pleased. I know there were I got a lot of text messages after we beat Jackson Center saying, well, you think you're going to be a 3, or a couple people even said 2, but at the end of the day, Russia beat us. We lost to Fort Laramie, and then we went ahead and we lost to Upper Scioto Valley. Then Fort Laramie turned around and crushed them. I was happy with getting the 4th. I would have been very disappointed because it almost happened. Looking at the voting, if Triad was put in front of us, but I was pleased. I feel like if we would have done better early on, I feel like that we could have made an argument to be higher. But despite how we played recently, I think it was a fair shake.
All right, Coach, listen, hey, I got one more question for you. You mentioned that Russia game, and of course, Ken and I were there at that game, and I got to ask you this question. I noticed that when you pace the sidelines, when you sit on the bench, you're carrying a bottle of something in your hand, and I asked somebody about it. They said, oh, he does that all the time. I got to know what exactly is in that bottle, and is there some kind of story there?
Well, it's usually the Purely sweet tea. I know there's been people that have said other things. I'm getting a little bit loud and rowdy, but no, basically I get dried out. I used to chew gum, but the problem was I had lost the gum one time, and I don't know, maybe I was yelling or whatever, and the referee had to stop the game because he had gum just all over the floor. And of course, I didn't own up to it. I was kind of acting like, wow, what kid has gum? But I find the bottle works better than the gum, and other than me just kind of polluting the court with the gum. So I mean, it's just kind of my thing, so I can stay hydrated and stay loud and vocal.
All right. Well, now we know, Ken. Now
That's
we know.
right. We always wondered what was in that bottle.
All right. Well, listen, Coach, we're going to let you go. Best of luck this weekend. We'd like to see you pick up a couple victories and maybe get that tattoo, and maybe we'll see you on the tournament trail somewhere.
Super. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and you have a great night.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
That was the head coach of the Lehman Cavaliers, Ken. And what do you think? He'll get that tattoo if they pull off a couple wins?
I don't know. It'd be good for the area basketball. I know that. He's going to have his work cut out for him, though. That's two very good basketball teams. Not for sure where those games are being played at. Are they both in Lehman by chance?
I think the Tri-Village game, I believe, is at home at Lehman, and the Troy Christian game's at Troy Christian.
Yeah, that'll make a little bit of a difference there. I think Troy Christian might be awful tough to beat on that small floor they've got over there. But Lehman will be up to the task, and I think that could be a very high-scoring game as well.
All right, and I mentioned maybe seeing him on the tournament trail. I know we'll talk more about this next week, and I hate to get ahead of ourselves a little bit here, but if the number 1 seed Russia Raiders play like they should, and the number 4 seed Lehman Cavaliers play like they should, we have a potential sectional final matchup there. I know I don't want to jinx you here or anything, but you've told me several times you've watched these Lehman boys play for a lot of years, and they got a pretty good team, don't they?
They got a lot of good talent there, Craig, but you know what? I've seen the Russia boys play for a lot of years too, and they got a lot of talent as well. So I think they'll be up for the challenge, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, listen, we'll talk more about that next week. One more thing to get to tonight, and that is tonight's trivia question. So why don't you give the question to me again, Ken, and we'll check with the guys back there on some answers.
All right, Craig, the 2013 Anna Rockets state championship game, who was their leading scorer? Was it Erica Huber, Cayla Bensman, Natalie Billing, or Jody Seger?
All right. Well, Jody Sager, you got me thinking here. I thought she was a Russia girl, but then you put her in the answers with the Anna girls. So I'm pretty sure she's a Russia girl. I'm about positive of that one. So I'm gonna throw her out. Natalie Billing and Erica Huber, two very good players. I got to think one of those would be the front runner for that. But we had Cayla Bensman on the show tonight. I got to go back to the sound room, guys. Any help tonight?
Jody Sager did not get any votes, so
well, good.
Probably not her. But surprisingly, Cayla Bensman got all the votes.
All the votes. All right.
The votes.
Natalie Billing was a scorer at one time, and like I said, Erica Huber. I know she had some games she lit it up too. But TK, they're saying Cayla Bensman, huh?
That's what it shows up there on the screen.
All right. Well, we'll go with one of our interviews tonight, and I'm going to go with Cayla Bensman, Ken.
Craig, Cayla Bensman led the Anna Rockets with 21 points in that state championship game. So, yes, you are correct. She was the leading scorer in that game.
Wow.
21.
Her sophomore year, right?
Sophomore, yeah. Now, Natalie Billing had 17, and Erica Huber, I think, chipped in 15. So, they all had great games. Jody Seger, though, may have been the key, though, because she was running the iPad sitting behind the bench.
Oh, that's right. That's right. She does sit back there and do that, doesn't she? She could have been the key. All right. Well, listen, that's going to do it for us tonight. Do want to say special thanks to our guest, Cayla Bensman from Anna, and also Coach from Tollefson over there from Lehman. Ken and I and the crew are all going to be back again next week. Same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week, everyone, and good night.
Hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond, hanging at the fishing pond. For your latest news and high school sports, tune in to the fishing pond. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole when you tune in to the fishing pond, hanging at the